Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast, Welcome to Livingston, where we invite local businesses, people, and organizations in to talk about what they are giving to our community. My name is Don Putkela.
And I'm Angela Putkela, and we're with the Putkela Group Real Estate Professionals. As realtors and brokerage owners, we bring valuable insight into the local market and community every week.
Thanks for listening, and welcome to Livingston. Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the Welcome to Livingston podcast. My name is Don Putkela.
And I'm Angela Putkela, and we're with the Putkela Group Real Estate Professionals. And this podcast has been powered by Jim Paquette at Lake Michigan Credit Union.
Yeah, and we are so excited about today's episode. Today with us, we have Trisha Turner with Turner Design Group. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we've known you for a long time, and you do such wonderful work. And even though we're entering into more of the winter season, and that's not necessarily what you'd think of landscaping for, as I was talking to you, it was really interesting to know all the great things that you guys are doing, even in the off season.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, as far as services, now's a great time to plan for your spring installations. It's also for land clearing. For invasive species, that's kind of our niche, is like plant knowledge and knowing what to apply and when. And then we're also gearing up for snow, commercial snow and residential snow in Brighton and Howell.
Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, with the invasive land species, a lot of people, they just don't know where to start in taking care of the yard or what's going on in it or how to get rid of things. And, you know, that's where you guys come in. So how does that work a little bit with someone that, you know, is having those types of issues?
The first thing that we like to do is come in and have a land clearing assessment, because it depends what you have as to how we're going to get rid of it. For example, buckthorn, that's something that needs to be fresh cut with herbicide, like painted on the stem. That's literally the best way to get rid of it. And other invasives like autumn olive, that one we can rip right out. We have like a little ripper on our machine, and it comes out pretty nice. But it's a shallow rooted plant, but man, do they grow fast, and they can really crowd out vegetation that you'd want to be there and ruin your views. And
is that nasty. The one that like looks like a vine and digs back? That's like the grapevine, right?
That's bittersweet. In Brighton especially, like if you drive down, I think it's Brighton Lake Road or Brighton Road, you can see it. It's just like grabbing the trees and trying to take them down. So bittersweet's another one where we have to do a live cut, a fresh cut, and paint it with herbicide.
Okay.
To get rid of it. But that's also a process, because you're supposed to like cut the base of the vine like close to the soil. And then you kind of let the vines dry on the tree. And then after a couple of months, they're dry and they're easy to grab, like to pull down.
Got you.
So it's
a process. Then.
Oh my gosh. It just depends on how detailed you want to get. But we also look at budget and cost effectiveness. And we can also like work with a client if they want to do some of the work. But like we have the pesticide license to know like what can we apply and when's the best time to apply it, because there's temperatures on certain things that we have to be within a window, or you literally just applied a chemical for no reason. So, it's knowledge of plant identification, and then, you know, what's our program, so we don't have to do this every fall.
Well, and that's the big thing, especially with the bittersweet. The house we had before this one had a ton of it in back.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that it's like very prevalent in the area. Mm-hmm. And there's people out there that they are fighting a losing battle with that every year.
Yeah.
Like they're just pulling it down and they're trying to keep their trees from dying from it.
I remember those days.
But, you know, calling someone like you, then you take care of the problem, so you're not dealing with it every year.
Yeah, and I mean a big thing people are freaky about, which I get, is applying any type of pesticide or herbicide to to plants. But it's all about, like, especially with invasives, it's about a target application. Like when we paint the stems, we literally use a paintbrush or a rag right on the stem, and then we dispose of it. So it's very localized. It's not a blanket spray, but absolutely the right product at the right time is critical for long-term success.
That is great. And I think people a lot of times only think of these invasive species in the middle of the summer when they're battling them. And then as things are dying down, it's a matter of like, oh, I don't have to worry about it anymore because it's winter, but why not take this opportunity?
Yeah, and October is the best month for that type of application because the plants are getting ready for dormancy and they're putting all of their energy towards the base or the crown of the plant. So if you can target apply, then it will take all that solution and take it down to the root, and it can really target things like Canadian thistle and some of those perennial weeds that can be tough. And those, not to say that one application is going to bring you home, especially Canadian thistle. It's a tough one, but this is the most impactful month to do something like that.
It's helpful to know.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
No, that's really good. So, and you know, I know we mentioned, you know, the name of your company, Turner Design Group, but why don't you tell us a little bit about it just so everybody knows?
Okay, Turner Design Group came up with the name because that is my last name, Trisha Turner. And the company is my husband and I, and we are a small but mighty team of 6 people. So we're growing, which we're excited about. We hired a business office manager in February, and she's a total rock star. So that's been really fun. We specialize in fine gardening bed maintenance. So we're not a company that comes and mows. We don't apply lawn fertilization. But what we're really good at is plant identification, what to prune and when, what to treat with weed applications, what's a weed, what's a plant, and to get you those long-term results so you're not consistently like, what is going on with these weeds? We take that off of your plate. So we can handle the fine garden bed maintenance. And then we also have an installation team, a design build installation team. So we do design in-house. That's part of the Turner Design Group. So we specialize in landscape design. My background is landscape architecture. I'm a Michigan State landscape architect grad of 2009. Go green, go white. I know I'm in good company there.
Yeah.
And so we do landscape design in-house, and then we can implement the proposed design installation. And that's something we really enjoy doing. And then we can take care of the garden bed maintenance.
Wonderful.
Nice. That's a great service.
Thank
and
you.
I think people don't necessarily realize that that's out there and available, and or what company might be reputable to work on that for.
And I think one of the big things, because we are in real estate as well, so one of the big things is we have clients all the time that they get into a house and there's all this landscaping going on and there's these flowers coming up and they have no idea what's happening in their yard, what to take care of. They don't know the names of anything. They're like, is this a weed? Is this a weed? This is flowering. I have no idea. You're an amazing resource for that.
Yeah, and we can come in and do a consultation, like a landscape site audit, where we offer it as a service where I can walk around the property with a clipboard and or taking pictures and just do a sketch of the house, note what you have, and then from there we can see what the client wants to do.
That's really helpful.
It is, especially when you go into a place and you have no idea what's going on. And like some things you just don't know, like some stuff's underground. Like the bulbs, that might be a surprise when someone buys a house in the spring and stuff like that. And then the fun invasives that you're like, what is that? So yeah, we can provide that resource.
Excellent. And for those people that are getting into houses, we definitely have a great resource for that.
Yes. So our great sponsor, Jim Paquette with Lake Michigan Credit Union, he is an amazing local lender. So thank you. Yeah, and thank him so much for being our sponsor. And here's a word from him really quick. Today's episode of the Welcome to Livingston podcast is brought to you by our valued sponsor, Jim Paquette with Lake Michigan Credit Union. He is a trusted mortgage lender who has lived and worked in our community for many years. Jim Paquette is dedicated to helping our neighbors achieve their homeownership dreams and is proud to support the local businesses that make our area special. Now let's dive back into the stories of the incredible entrepreneurs we are featuring today. So we're back, and one of the things we wanted to mention, since it is that time of year coming up to winter, is you guys do snow removal.
We do. We are doing commercial and residential snow removal in Brighton and Howell.
Great. And that makes sense because I imagine in the off season it kind of gives you something to do.
It does. In snow, like where we're at in Michigan, it's not a super huge thing, But it's definitely can be an inconvenience, or for businesses, you need that care for safety, the salting of the walks, the plowing. So for us, it's a supplement. And then we also do the land clearing that we previously spoke about, and then plan for projects for next year. And it depends on the weather. We can do hardscape projects sometimes all year round, like boulder walls, paver patios. Concrete is restricted, but we use a subcontractor for concrete. But that is a possibility if people are interested in doing that. But all winter long, hardscapes, boulders. It just depends if it freezes or not.
Right.
That's true.
So how does that process work in terms of like the paver patios and that? Like, is now a good time then to be thinking about next year?
Next year and this year, I'm meeting with someone today that we're discussing for this year. So with the brick paver patios, we install like they call it like an open grade aggregate, so it breathes with the winter, like with the freezing and the thawing, so it doesn't cause heaving. So it's a great, it's a great option. Paver patios, they have that beautiful look. It is a little more costly than concrete, obviously, but you don't get that rich look with concrete. So it's brick pavers really make it look nice. And there's so many different vendors out there, the premium concrete pavers. You can really, the sky's the limit for upgrades, that's for sure. If you want different ribbons, sailor, soldier courses, we work with some of the big vendors. Fent is a local one. Unilock, that they do an amazing job with their marketing. So a lot of people know about Unilock, and then High Format is out of Charlevoix. So, yep, we have, those are our three big ones.
That is really cool, because I know so many people, they want to upgrade their space in the backyard. You know, I find that so many more people are using their outdoor space than they used to, right? So you want something that is enjoyable, that you're getting the benefit that you want out of it. And it's so nice to be able to incorporate the different things that, like, you're not just able to do the patio, it's the surround of the landscaping around it that kind of gives you a full picture look of an upgrade to your backyard space.
They call it outdoor rooms, Don. We're creating an outdoor room.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because in terms of real estate, the yard is almost a whole nother part of everything. You know, curb appeal is critical, but even just that backyard space. Everybody wants a fantastic backyard that they can really dig in and enjoy.
Yeah, and we get people too all the time. You mentioned backyard spaces, and it brings up, we've had certain people or certain clients like renovate their entire backyard to fit a tent, a certain size tent for the upcoming graduation open house. Like, it really means a lot to them to have that at their house. So that's we work with people all the time, all year long, planning some of these projects, because as you guys know, you've had a grad or two, or you know, coming up on another one, and it's almost like a milestone in your life. You're like, okay, it's time to get those arborvitae in or whatever.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. You wouldn't think that yard and home renovations are like timed for when your kids' events are.
Oh, they are.
But they are.
They are.
I have lost track of how many people have mentioned that the deck was fixed or the deck was built because of the graduation party.
Absolutely. You don't want someone falling through the deck.
Right.
So, yeah, and that's another service that we do that I don't think we touched on before, was deck renovations. We just finished an amazing deck renovation for a client in Howell, and they couldn't use their stairs. Like, their stairs were rotten. Like, they couldn't walk up them. So how amazing. What if they had a grad party, you know, now that area is available to have grilling or whatever, or more overflow people. So safety is a big issue for sure.
And I think people, as they live in the house for a long time, if they aren't going through a real estate transaction, they kind of forget in terms of some of the maintenance, and that wood can absolutely rot when not taken care of.
Yeah, and now it's all about composite. I mean, we use the Trex Transcends series for most of our deck, either new decks and or renovations, and it's just amazing. Like, the warranty's awesome. Over 20-year warranty on the product, if I'm quoting that correct. And it just looks amazing. And it just depends on renovations if we can reuse. Like sometimes we can reuse the existing framing, but sometimes we have to do a little bit of additional bracing. But on the renovation that we just completed a couple of weeks ago, we just needed a couple of extra deck boards, and we were ready to get cooking. So that was great.
Right. So that's nice. So for that, they can have you out, and then it's again like a consultation design, what needs to be done to the deck to bring it up to where they want it, or rip it down and build a new one, right?
Absolutely. Yes, we provide that service. And we also bring deck samples because, we do that with brick pavers too. I've never had anyone say, oh, I didn't order that. Because things look different, like when the materials arrive, because things totally look different in a catalog. And we're part of a network of different landscapers over the U.S. and in different clubs that we're in with like Michigan Green Industry Association and a few others. We've heard these horror stories from other designers that like, oh, the wrong pavers were delivered and installed. That has never happened on Turner Designs Watch, proudly. Because it's like, nope, these are the samples. We send whoever's picking up the material with the samples. Like, there's no mixing that up.
It makes sense that you would be buttoned up because you are a very buttoned up business owner.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We certainly try.
No, there's nothing worse than a homeowner. They left, the work's being done during the day. They come home and they're like, oh, wait a minute. And for us, it wasn't landscaping, but we had our old house. They put new shingles on the roof and came home and it was the wrong color.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we had ordered black and it was gray.
Oh,
I'm like,
how did that checks and balances go internally on their end?
No,
it's a disaster.
So it's so good that you have those checks and balances and that you're showing an actual sample of it, because you're right. Pictures say one thing, but when you can see it and the lighting, lighting makes a big deal on what you're picking.
It makes a huge deal. And even like when we look at certain color selections, there's in the design world, there's warm and cool colors. And if you have a cool color brick up against warm color house facade, even if you don't know the color spectrum and the color wheel and all that, something just naturally looks off to your eye. So that warm and cool, it can be misinterpreted in different lighting, or misportrayed in a picture in different lighting. So I'm very particular about that. And even when we've had people trust us and be like, just pick whatever. And it's like, well, I'll pick whatever. Or, like what our most popular thing is for either Trex decking or pavers. But like, you're gonna see it next to your house because that makes a difference.
Right.
Yeah. And just in terms of managing expectations and visual.
Absolutely. You bet.
Wonderful. And, you guys have so many different things going on. I wanted to go back a second to, as we're going in the fall, going into winter, what advice would you give homeowners in terms of they're prepping their yard? They're trying to get ready for winter.
For winter, I would make sure that all of your landscape beds are blown out very, very well. That is especially critical if you have some type of pathogen on your trees, like sometimes like with oak leaves or maple leaves or different plants, that those need to be collected and disposed of. It's also critical for people that have rock as their bedding instead of mulch. It's so important to blow out those beds really, really, really well, because people install rock and think, oh, we're zero maintenance. But it's all those little bitty pieces of like leaf that like break down, and they break down all winter, and then they continue to break down, and then they're this nice little dirt pile for weeds to germinate. And that is when the trouble starts. So I would recommend blowing out the leaves, and then that also kind of stems into the gutters, making sure that all of your downspout outlets work, because you'll find out there's a problem when it's ice time, and then there will be, then the gutters can break and there's ice overflow, and water will always win. So
water will always win.
Yeah. Creates so many more problems. That whole ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Absolutely. I like that analogy. That's great.
Yeah, it's interesting, all the little things. Our dog was going nuts the other day outside at our downspout. So I have a downspout, and at the end I have, the corrugated pipe that extends out to get it away from the house, which is important for everybody to get the water away from the house. But I don't have a cap or anything on the end of that. And now I have to put one on it because we found out that we have chipmunks that are going through that and going all the way up our downspout to the roof. And our dog had trapped one in there.
Oh, boy.
So, but now I've identified, hey, this is another thing in terms of landscaping of like, you think you're doing the right things, but then you're not. I'm getting 90% there. I'm not getting 100% there.
Absolutely. And it's like, if the cap is a hold up, sometimes people have like chicken wire. You can bundle up the chicken wire and like stuff it up the gutter too. And that can at least get you along until you can go to the hardware store and get a cap.
Got you.
So yeah, anything you can do to keep those critters out, because as you guys know, they are destructive little buggers. Chipmunks are so cute, right?
Right.
Like, you don't want them burrowing
Not
down
when you
in
own a
your
home.
patio and
Yeah.
go elsewhere, please.
Yes.
That's exactly true.
So, and how do homeowners know what they can and can't cut back in the fall?
They don't.
They don't.
And now with like AI and Chat GPT, it's like, so I think most people know enough that like AI is getting stuff from different things on the web. Anybody can put anything on the web. We do like on our social media, we'll be like, what's your question? So please take advantage of those Q&As. Ask a landscaper friend. You can also reach out to the Michigan State Extension. That is through Michigan State University. That's a free service. So if you really have a question, you can send them a picture followed with a question, and then they put it, part of it being the free service is educate the community. So they put it up there on their like forum board or whatever to say like, oh, so-and-so asked this question and this is the answer. So you can just send us a message. So.
Right, because you don't want to cut something back and then be like, well, that's never going to grow again.
Well, lilacs, they've already set their flowers for the fall. Viburnum, like the Korean spice in the spring that blooms beautiful in the spring, set their buds in the fall. And magnolias, like the little fuzzy buds, you can see how many flowers you're going to get on your magnolia right now with the fuzzy buds. So it's very important to know what to prune and when, for sure.
Wow.
Honest to goodness.
Just the knowledge that you have is just fascinating.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. That's why it's so important to hire a professional, because you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and I mean, we do a collaboration too. Like, we work with homeowners. So if it comes down to budget and someone's, happy to do the work themselves, we can come in and say, prune this, prune that, yada, yada, draw a little site map. So that's something that we can do. And then we can also just complete the service for you so you don't have to worry about it and take the debris away.
Yeah. So, and as we go into winter or you have a condo, you do some interior gardening now as well, right?
We do. Yes, we do live living walls. And then we also do moss walls. And then we can bring in plants, interior plants, and make sure that you're outfitted with either the proper orientation for natural light for certain plants or grow lights. There's a lot of advancements with grow lights, so you can really have any plant you want at any spot in your house.
Very cool. So what's a moss wall?
A moss wall is it's not living. So it's nice because the longevity of the actual moss wall is 10 years, up to 10 years. Sometimes they can go a little bit longer. So it's nice because they just bring it. It seems like they bring the outside in, and there's so many studies out there about these biolithic, I think I'm pronouncing that right, plantings and having that in those exterior environments inside, so it can expand creativity. It can help purify the air, but the moss and the particles grabbing some of the impure things in the air.
Right.
It can make productivity greater for your employees or yourself or your kids. So there's a lot of cool things, and the moss walls are really attractive because if you compare those against the interior walls, there's maintenance with interior walls. There's pruning. The pests can come about, which we have the proper pesticide license to handle. But there's pruning, there's watering, whereas with moss walls, you pick a design, and we can do a compact design or more of a thicker, more of a natural-looking design where there's plants that kind of look like they're coming out of the wall. So you have some choices still with that, but it's zero maintenance, which is really nice.
Yeah, I don't have to water it or any of that.
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
Right.
Yep.
And I know I've seen the living wall that you have over at All Heart Garage.
Yes.
Which is doing great, and it's so nice to see. So for people
Yeah,
out there
thank
that
you.
want green
Yeah.
in the middle of the winter, know that they have options.
And it's safe for pets then, right? Or are you
Well,
have to be
Yeah.
careful?
Something that's interesting is a couple years ago, we had someone that was like, I need a landscape and I need it to be safe for my puppy, and my puppy eats everything. Well, even a daylily is poisonous to a dog. So a lot of plants are not safe for pets.
Okay.
But the living wall systems, which we do use the patented living wall system, that those are manufactured on the west side of the state in Spring Lake, Michigan, using local companies or sourcing local resources is very important to our company. It's part of our why to build community. But those are fixed to the wall. So whether you choose to do a hand water system or a plumbed system where there's irrigation coming through your wall, it's fairly safe for pets because it's on the wall, so it's out of a munching zone.
There you
Right.
go.
So
Yeah.
yes,
Out of reach.
Right.
yep, yeah, and two with the living walls, there's broadly two different design scopes where we can do a tight planting with a pothos wall, which is like a tighter trailing system of plants, and then we can do the large tropicals, which at All Heart Garage, I have one side planted in the pothos of my mobile wall and the other in the large tropicals, so you can see, because like for the large tropicals, you need like 2 foot of reach for those plants to be able to grow, which is important because depending on the application, you might want it like right behind a chair or something, and it would feel uncomfortable to put your head
Right.
along that. So we have options.
Makes sense.
And then you can take out the bins, which is nice that they're interchangeable or pretty easy to put different plants in. So like for Christmas, you can do like packed poinsettias, or in the spring sometimes, in Michigan in February, it's so gross. We need some bromeliads. We need some tropicals. So you can have some that are already pre-done, and that's something that our staff can do.
What a cool idea.
I love plants. And that's what started the interior thing. I'm like, I just want to be surrounded by plants all the time. So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, so here's a question. What's popular right now in landscape? And what are people thinking about for next year? Or?
we've been getting a lot of concept pictures that are cool color landscapes. It's like whites, purples, greeny, sagey kind of foliage. So that's been really hot lately. So how we mimic that is with certain grass plants for our zone, of course. That eucalyptus, we get a lot of pictures for the eucalyptus. It's not hardy here. I'm sorry. You can put it in your interior spaces with the grow light, but yeah. So we can use different sages, salvias, different foliage plants. But yeah, when you bring that up, is the cool colored plants along with the pavers with the rocks in between. We usually try to talk most people out of those because you can't blow it. So like when we just talked about blowing things and getting all that detritus out, or, the compacted leaves and things, it can be very difficult to maintain. So, and we have tried a couple of those sticky products, like you can see on like Facebook and different reels and things. People will do this cute little stone layout, very geometric looking or contemporary looking, and then they on the pebbles they like spray they adhere this sticky paste. In the landscape world, people have said it's not high quality stuff to not use it, but we have tried it at a couple of properties, so we'll see. We'll know next year once there's been some freezing and thaws if it's something that we can propose. But that's been really hot as people see those like large slab stones and either grass in between or rocks. And we have a couple of products that we can use in lieu of both of those, but it's not grass. The grass will eat your stones, and if you have healthy grass, it's going to grow over. So, but yeah, we get a lot of requests for that.
That's good. Well, I'm sure that's part of the consultation process, just in terms of talking to the people of like, okay, you want this, but this requires a lot of maintenance.
It does.
So you know, some homeowners, they have this idea of what they want, but they don't realize what it takes for it to continue to look like that.
And I mean, we all have full schedules. I don't know like a mom or a business owner or anyone that's like, oh, I have another 5 hours today. Like, what can I do? So it's important that if someone really likes certain high maintenance things, it's like, okay, well, how much time do you have? Because I want to make sure this is a realistic thing. Like in the pink and blue hydrangeas, that comes up a lot. People want the pink and the blue ball hydrangeas. Those are really difficult to get to bloom. If you have one, you're a unicorn that blooms and it looks amazing. So, they just require a lot of fertilization and a lot of attention.
Right.
Yeah, and I imagine with plants, there's just so much to it.
There is. Yeah, absolutely.
In the landscaping world, since you've been in it a number of years, what do you like best about it? What do you like working with the most?
I like the creative aspect, and I know everyone on our team commented on it too, is that they enjoy seeing a project evolve in real time and quickly, and like these renovations. So I guess I probably like renovations the most, because you go into someone's house and there's like all these old overgrown shrubs, and then I always enjoy a challenge. So usually there's like, in my favorite ideal situation, there's a couple of sentimental plants. So, you got to be extra careful around those and find a good spot for them so people can see them at certain times because they mean a lot to them. I really enjoy going into almost a jungle landscape, gutting it, saving a couple things, and then doing something new that fits either the new homeowner's taste or we've had a lot of boomers this year that they just want to kind of refresh. And that's been fun too, to add some new colors or try some different plants, but keep some existing.
Right.
So I really like the landscape renovations because it's fun.
That is very cool. Yeah, because what worked at a house 20, 25 years ago, it's overgrown and it doesn't work now.
And they might be over it. They're sick of looking at it.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty fun.
Cool.
Very cool. Well, this has been so much fun today to kind of dig in and think spring, even though we're in the heart of fall.
Yeah.
But I think it sounds like that's kind of how that works. A lot of times, the farther ahead you think, the
we're
better
always
off you are.
planning ahead. Yep, we are.
If you want something done, you got to forward think and get it in place.
And make it intentional, or else it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing.
truth.
Be intentional about it. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Well, is there anything we missed?
I don't think so.
Wonderful.
It was just fun to take time to visit and really dig into landscaping. But
right.
Well, thank you so much for coming today, and
welcome to Livingston.